Hello, everyone, and good afternoon, and welcome to today's webinar, where we'll be talking about food and drink attitudes. Gen Z loves food and drink. That's why we're here. From a cheeky Nando's to a Cafe Nero study session, this is the sector at the heart of many students. Contrary to popular belief, no cost of living crisis is going to prevent students from grabbing a lunchtime bite or heading to the pub post-lecture. However, they are just being a little bit more savvy with their spending, how they're spending, where they're spending, which is why we're all gathered here today. How to capture Gen Z's spend. Which eateries are winning them over? Where's their go-to spot? What does the future look like for this industry? Loads of questions, and we're going to get to them all today, hopefully. So in this webinar, we will be hearing directly from our Gen Z panelists about all things food and drink, focusing on spending habits and what they want from food and drink brands. So before I introduce our panelists, just a couple of bits of housekeeping. So panelists, if you could all mute yourselves, please, if you're not talking, that would be fantastic. And also to the audience, if you've got any questions, just pop them in the Q&A bar and hopefully we will get round to them at the end. So today, we're joined by Toshe, Katie, Manisha and Kezran. Thank you all so much for joining us. We have lots to get through, so we're going to try and get through as much as possible. Before we jump into our quick fire, I will just get you all to introduce yourselves very quickly. So who you are, what you're studying and where you're studying. So Manisha, you are on my screen first, so I will go to you first. Could you just quickly introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Manisha. I'm currently studying law in Nottingham and I'm in my final year.
Thank you very much. Katie?
Hi, my name's Katie and I'm currently studying outdoor adventure and sport management over in Bedfordshire.
Fantastic, thank you. Toshe?
Hi, I'm Toshe and I'm studying clinical psychology at Newcastle University.
Very much. And last but not least, Kezran, what about you?
Hey everyone, my name's Kezran and I go to University of Westminster and I'm doing my LLM in International Law over there.
Thank you so much, everyone. So lots of panelists, lots of questions. We will get cracking. A quick fire round first, just a few questions to warm up panelists and also to warm up the audience, of course. So everyone, what is your go-to place to eat for a meal with friends? Kezran, I'll go to you first.
I think I'm a Nando's girl. I probably talk about that a lot, but I absolutely love their peri-peri chicken. If I'm in the area where they serve specifically halal chicken, I would definitely just pick up my friends and go there for a meal, for sure.
And for the audience, Kezran and I were just talking about what her favourite food in the world is, and she did say peri-peri chicken, so that makes sense. Manisha, what about you? What's your go-to place for a meal with friends?
My go-to place is Wagamama's because I'm a vegetarian. I have a lot of other vegetarian friends and I feel like that's just the place to be, like, and it serves the best kind of like vegetarian food.
Absolutely, thank you. Toshe, what about you?
I think my answer is not going to like by everyone. I'm more of a Subway person.
I don't hate that answer. And Katie, what about you?
For an evening meal, it'd be TGI Fridays because they actually do a really good student discount in the week and everyone likes the food, so it works really well for us.
Fantastic. And we will circle back to TGI Fridays later on, I'm sure, and also get around to student discounts. But good to get that in there nice and early, that's something that's really important to you. So another quick fire question. How often would you say that you eat out or get a takeaway every week? So essentially, how often do you not cook at home? Katie, you're still on my screen, so I'll go to you first.
Probably max once a week. Definitely every other week though.
Interesting, thank you. And Kezran, what about you?
So I'm a very foodie person. So I think most of my money and whatever I have, allowance or like salary is spent on food, a big chunk of it. I would go like twice, even thrice a week, and I love dining out. I'm extremely foodie, but it's kind of comparatively, it's kind of like lowered down a bit now because we have Ramadan and I'm fasting. So a lot of my time is spent at home, and obviously I don't eat out as much. So obviously it's lowered during this month. But yeah, usually twice or thrice a week. Yep.
Fantastic, thank you. Toshe, what about you?
So yeah, I usually do takeouts like once or twice a week because like I'm more into gym and stuff, so I manage my own calories.
See, and if you're getting a takeaway, are they quite easy to track?
Kind of. I mean, if you're just getting a pizza, so yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. And we've got 4 panelists, so I'm losing track of who I have and haven't asked. Manisha, have I asked you this question?
Currently once a week, but I do tend to cook a lot at home, and I do like experimenting with like home cooked food.
Amazing, thank you. And the most important question I would say of all time, for our final quickfire question, is what is your dream meal deal? So by meal deal, I'm talking, sandwich, crisps, drink from, for example, Tesco. So Manisha, we'll go to you first. What is your dream meal deal?
A pesto pasta, a Diet Coke, and the Blue Original Doritos.
Thank you. Kezran, what about you?
So Tesco's fish salad, because I love fish, with a side of crisps and their Starbucks caramel macchiato.
Very good range going already. Thank you. Toshe, what about you?
For me, it's also Tesco's cheese sandwich along with side of Kit Kat and a chocolate milk.
And Katie, last but not least, what about you?
For me, it'd be either Tesco's or Sainsbury's. It'd be a ham and cheese kind of baguette style sandwich with cheese and onion crisps and a Pepsi Max cherry.
Thank you. I always think that a meal deal can reveal a lot about a person, and we've got a massive range of meal deals here. So thank you very much, everyone. So we're going to dive straight into the really juicy stuff now. We're going to be talking about coffee, alcohol, dining out, student discounts, all that good stuff. But first of all, talking about takeaways. So I know that we've all just spoken about where we prefer to go out to eat. But if you're getting a takeaway, what is your takeaway of choice in terms of the brand that it comes from? So Kezran, what's your takeaway of choice?
So definitely Nando's, their peri chicken, and then I love TGI Fridays because I love burgers as well. So that, and then I also love their loaded potato skins. I think they're really tasty. And then I think the Pretz macaroni and cheese because I love mac and cheese as well. So just be juggling around those options.
Just ordering all of them, fair enough. Toshe, what about you? What's your takeout of choice, your takeout brand?
So my usual takeaway is like Subway, which is like once a week, but the second one just keeps changing, which is in like dancing between pizza or a burger.
Choices, but strong choices, I would say. And Manisha, what about you?
I go for like a pizza from Domino's, or I would go for a ragazzi from Wagamama's.
Nice. It's interesting that all of your favorite places to eat out, they tend to be your favorite places to take out from as well. And Katie, what about you?
Mine would probably just be the local Chinese. It's just my favorite, so it always goes down a treat.
Beat it. Thank you very much. So in terms of celebrations, a lot of these places that you've mentioned do have dine-in options. Some of them obviously don't, but a lot of them, like TJ Fridays and stuff, you can obviously go and sit in and celebrate. So the question now is going to be about celebrating an occasion and where you would go to celebrate. And if you were celebrating, if you would base that around food. So Katie, if you were celebrating an occasion like a birthday or a graduation, would you choose to eat out? And if so, where would you go?
Typically, we do choose to dine out, and there's local to us. It's this really big dine-in Chinese restaurant. It's kind of the buffet style, but it delivers to the table, so you can have as much as you like, but it delivers to the table, and it's the big round tables. So because we're quite a big family, that's always the go-to place for birthdays and things.
Amazing, thank you. And Kezran, if you were celebrating an occasion, would you eat out? And if so, where?
So usually I think it would be Lebanese food with family, but because in London I don't have family, they're back home. So I have a lot of Asian friends, and they all love Wagamama. So we definitely, I think we just go there. And obviously, I love noodles as well. So we just go and dine there. And also their curries and their did noodle dishes, all of them are like super tasty. So definitely Wagamama's.
Nice. It's the sort of place, isn't it, where there's something for everyone. Like you said, there's kind of noodles, there's rice, there's curry. So everyone's happy. Thank you very much. And Toshe, if you were celebrating your birthday or for your graduation, would you choose to eat out?
Yeah, I mean, Pizza Express would be a great option for like celebrating because it has a great vibe inside.
And do you take advantage of any of their discounts or anything? Because I know that they do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
Perfect.
I think if I may speak, I think that's like a really great option because Pizza Express, I think that would be my second option because sometimes, like in London, there are a couple of branches where they do like live music shows, and then it also offers like a student discount. So, Pizza Express looks like a great option to dine out as well to celebrate.
That's so interesting that you flagged that because I only recently discovered that they do have that kind of entertainment side as well in certain, I think, is it the Covent Garden one maybe in London where they do music stuff. But Kezran, does that, from your perspective, if a dining place, if you were to eat out and they offered some form of entertainment, is that appealing to you or is that just kind of a nice bonus?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely prioritize that place if it's got like a side of entertainment. Because I mean, who doesn't love a good entertainment night? Like music and then food, good food, friends around you. That would be like a really great vibe. And yep, there's one at Covent Garden and then the Holborn one as well in London. They have like really cool and they're like such great bands playing. So it's like it's like a fun night if you go and dine out with your friends to celebrate.
Fantastic, thank you. So Manisha, I'm going to come to you with a question about coffee. So firstly, do you drink coffee?
I love coffee.
Amazing. Do you visit coffee shops like Pret and Costa or Nero or Gales, for example? Are you a regular visitor of those coffee shops?
I'd say Cafe Nero and Pret are my two favorite coffee shops.
Fab. And why are they your coffee shops of choice?
I just prefer the taste of the coffee bean. I feel like it's more richer and it's just tasty.
Okay, interesting. And how much would you say, no shame, how much would you say you spend on takeaway coffee every week?
I'd say up to £10 a week.
That's good. You've managed to restrain yourself there. That's very good. Toshe, what about you? Do you tend to drink coffee and do you go out to a coffee shop?
Not really. I'm more of a hot chocolate person. So I have like not quite often been to Pret or Costa or any other coffee places like that.
Where do you think in London does the best? Sorry, you're not based in London. In Newcastle, where do you think in Newcastle does the best hot chocolate?
I think the best hot chocolate is, I don't remember, there's a guy in the van, he's selling outside, just like outside the main building of Newcastle. And he gives out like white hot chocolate, which is really tasty to have.
Delish. A man in a van with some white hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Katie, are you a coffee drinker?
Yeah, I do drink coffee.
Yeah. And how do you?
For me, oh, sorry, I was going to carry on. For me, typically it's Costa or Starbucks. Typically Costa though, because my parents are quite big coffee drinkers. So they always send me over their free coffees. So I actually don't end up paying for them usually, which is quite nice. But if I do, it's normally I end up paying like one a week, something like that. So I don't spend an awful lot, but I do enjoy it.
Interesting. And Kezran, do you drink any coffee or coffee alternatives that are from any of those sort of mainstream brands that are really catch your attention?
So I think because I'm always going to Heathrow and picking up family or friends flying in and out. So Heathrow's got a really great Cafe Nero. So we would always just, hop in and just get herself a a coffee. And I love coffee. But speaking of, that's like an interesting question. Speaking of alternatives, I don't know, but like if matcha would be like an alternative to coffee, then I would. I mean, hands down, Pret's matcha drink is amazing. And what's good about it is that obviously, so I think I just went up to one of the guys serving over there, and I said, I love this drink, but it's just that I can't afford it as much, and I'd like to have it for the rest of the week. And I got to then know about their really great sort of it's like a package. So you pay like, it's like a membership. So you pay like £20 a week, and then you can have as much matcha. There's literally no limit, as much as you'd like to drink. And then I literally got that, and I availed that offer, and it's like really amazing. And I'm literally having matcha twice or thrice a day. Sounds crazy, but it's like a really great drink.
So did you say that was £20 a week?
Correct.
Yeah. So £20 a week-ish on coffee alternatives, but you are absolutely getting your money's worth because of like you are.
For sure.
Yeah,
for
interesting.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to dining out. So food and drink brands that have caught your attention recently, and by caught your attention, I mean you could have been on TikTok and seen a really great one that you've never been to, but someone's done a video on it and you think, oh, I'd really like to go there. Or they've done some really good marketing recently, or you've heard really good things. So Manisha, we'll go to you. Is there any food and drink brand recently that's caught your attention?
I've seen a lot of like humble crumble like TikTok videos of the custard and crumble. I'm always intrigued by it. I know there's like a market. I don't know where it is in London, but I'm intrigued to go there because I always see them pop up on my For You page on TikTok.
That's how you discovered them, via TikTok?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard about Humble Crumble and I've never been, but it's on my list of want to go tos. Kezran, what about you? Is there any food and drink brand that's caught your attention recently?
So I think my friends had a lot of great things to say about JD Wetherspoon, about the options that they serve. But unfortunately for me, when I actually ended up trying it out, I found out that not a lot of those branches, or if any, I mean, I'm not on top of my research, serve halal food, halal chicken. The meat's not halal sourced. So then I couldn't try their chicken wings, which I heard like great things about. So I just ended up having their nachos, which was great as well. But yeah, that was it for me because obviously they don't serve halal chicken.
Okay, that's interesting. So it caught your attention, but it didn't. But in the end, you couldn't sort of go for what you would have gone for in an ideal world. Interesting. Okay. Katie, what about you? Is there any food and drink brand that's caught your attention?
On TikTok recently, I've been seeing a lot about like hot pot foods. It's kind of like with the noodles and everything all in one like hot dish kind of thing. And I know where I've been seeing it actually sold within the UK is Wagamama's. I think they've been doing kind of a thing on their menu with it, and that's kind of caught my eye and kind of want to give it a go.
Heard a lot about hot pot and like hot pot from home, where you can buy like kits and stuff to do it from home. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. It's interesting. Tosha, what about you? Any food and drink brand that's caught your attention?
I mean, not specifically, but like I've been trying out a lot of local restaurants because I've been following this page on Instagram which shares like what all is local around here in Newcastle. So I've been more focused on just being like leaving the branch for a while and just like going for the local food.
Supporting local businesses. We love to see it. Fantastic. So the next question, I was going to go to Katie, but Katie, I think you said you're having some signal issues, so I'll loop back to you at the end of it. But it's about TGI Fridays. So TGI Fridays, Nando's, Kezran, maybe this is a question for you first, as our sort of Nando's girly. How often do you visit high street eateries like Nando's, like Wagamama, TGI Fridays, maybe even Miller and Carter? How often do you go there?
As I mentioned, I currently have Ramadan, so obviously not that much. But on a regular day, I think Nando's definitely twice a week. I think after uni, I'm just obviously always coercing my classmates to just go to Nando's and have like dinner over there, or like an early supper or something. So definitely twice a week. And even if I don't have like anybody to go with me, I would just go there alone. And then yeah, I love burgers as well. So TGI Fridays as well. Sometimes maybe like alternately like once a week or something. Yeah.
Interesting, thank you. Manisha, do you visit places like Miller and Carter at all?
No.
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 What about places like Nando's, TGI Fridays, etc.? What is it? We know you go, but what is it that you love so much about these places?
I feel like it offers great opportunities for both veggie eaters and meat eaters. So I feel like it's got a menu which caters towards like all groups of people.
Yeah.
So because it's so versatile, it's like the go-to place to eat.
Fab, thank you. And Toshe, what about you? Places like Nando's and Wagamama's and TGI Fridays, how often do you go there, or do you tend to stay away from the chains?
So I used to visit it quite a lot when I came here for my master's, but like now that I've spent some time in the UK, I've reduced my visits, which is like once or twice a month. But like I love to visit Nando's and TGI Fridays because I used to have it back in India. So I just remember the flavor there, and from there, I think that made me try the food here as well from the same time.
As in, do you mean that they have a Nando's in India?
Yeah, there's Nando's and there's TGI Fridays back in India as well.
Oh wow! And how are they similar? Like, are the flavors in the menu similar? Which is better?
So I think the peri peri sauces are similar, but the whole menu is kind of different with different sides because India is more of uh, it's a more of vegetarian eating country. So they have more menu item with cottage cheese or tofu.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you definitely don't get cottage cheese in Nando's in the UK. Interesting. Thank you very much. So we've spoken about sort of sit-in, dine-in eateries, but what about grab-and-go convenience eateries? So I'm talking places like Upper Crust or Krispy Kreme. Manisha, are you a Krispy Kreme upper crust kind of person? Do you tend to eat grab and go, or do you prefer to sit down and eat?
I love the coffee from Krispy Kreme, and I like the donuts as well. So I tend to go to Krispy Kreme because it's near my uni.
Okay, so are you quite a regular-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because it's close, I tend to go more. But if it wasn't close, I wouldn't travel or go out on my way to go there.
Okay, so it's a convenience visit, really. Okay, that's interesting. And what's your favorite Krispy Kreme donut?
I love the Biscoff one. I don't know what the name of it is.
I've never had a Krispy Kreme, so I wouldn't know. No, I know. I think I must be the only person in the UK who's not had one. Kezran, what about you? Are you a kind of grab and go kind of person, or do you prefer to sit down and eat?
Yeah, so I have my university. The law campus is in Regent Street, so it's just like a 5 to 6 minutes walk from Oxford. So yeah, I would just end up going to Krispy Kreme as well. I absolutely love their glazed donuts, and as Manisha said, their Biscoff one is amazing. I'm also a really big fan of their donut milkshakes. I think those are really fun to try as well. A friend recommended it, and it was really like it was like such good flavors, and I really loved it.
Interesting. Toshe, what about you? Where do you stand on places like Krispy Kreme?
Again, Krispy Kreme was back in India, and I used to like take away a box of six from there. Or usually I like to order at my place because like Krispy Kreme mostly doesn't have places where you can sit and eat. So yeah, I mean even here as well, sometimes I just order like a box of six donuts.
So would you prefer to eat then? Do you prefer to eat either at home or like in a restaurant as opposed to eating whilst you're doing something?
I mean, if you're having a full meal, which is like let's say if you're having burgers with fries and stuff, I think it would be better to eat at the place because like it's served hot. Like once you take away and once even if you get a delivery or something, by the time you reach back home, it's like the burger becomes all soggy. So I think for me, hot meals if you're having outside that's the best. But like if it's more of a shake or just like some dessert, you can just take it away.
Amazing, thank you. And have any of you been or eaten from an upper crust before? Upper crust, no.
Not
Katie,
really.
no. Katie, can you hear and see us okay? No, I'll give her a minute to sort herself out. So the next question is about Weatherspoons. Kesran, I know that you've already touched on Weatherspoons. Weatherspoons is considered a sort of student staple. It's cheap, it's cheerful. There's a massive range on the menu. Kesran, we'll go to you first, and we'll sort of continue where we left off, and then I'll go to the wider group. So I feel like I know the answer to this question, but just to sort of double back on it, what could Weatherspoons do to sort of bring to encourage you to go there more often?
Yeah, so I've heard great things about it, and as you mentioned, it's super affordable as well, which is, I think that's like a very student-friendly thing, especially in London, because it's an expensive city. I've tried their nachos and they were amazing, but I would love to try their chicken wings and their classic burgers as well, but I couldn't because I wasn't able to. So they didn't. The meat wasn't halal sourced, so unfortunately I couldn't try it. Maybe expanding on their just expanding on how they source their meat would be a great option. Chicken or just beef or anything, that would be great because I eat both. I love them. So that would be great, and that would just give me a chance to try their chicken wings and their burgers as well, which has been highly recommended by a lot of my friends in London. So that would be a great thing. But for now, I've just like had like a couple of like drinks over there and just like just their nachos because I wasn't able to try the others.
Interesting, thank you. And Manisha, what about you? Do you regularly go to Weatherspoons?
Yep, I usually get the breakfast from there because it's super affordable. But one thing to make Weatherspoons better is nothing food related. It's more like the cleaning environment could be better.
As in, you think the general area in particular?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And would you tend to go to Weatherspoons during the day, or do you go on an evening, like for drinks and stuff like that, or is it more of a breakfast spot for you?
It's more of a breakfast spot, so in the mornings.
Okay. And Toshe, what about you? Have you been to Weatherspoons before?
Okay, so I have only been once to Weatherspoon, and that's all.
Did you think of it when you went?
I mean, the place has a great vibe. I went in the evening, so there was a lot of people around there, and yeah, good drinks.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. So it seems that it is like still a popular spot for young people, but there are quite a few things that they could do to kind of attract more people. Thank you, everyone. So a question about a restaurant called Beefeater, and I spoke to Katie before, and Katie used to be a regular when she was growing up. She said a regular visitor of Beefeater restaurants. Toshe, Manisha, and Kesran, can you raise your hand so I can direct the question to the right person if you've been to a Beefeater before, Beefeater restaurant? No. Manisha, I know that you said that you've not been, but you've heard of a Beefeater. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it kind of one of the ones that's on your list of would go to, or are you not really that bothered about it?
I'd have to look up the menu for it, but if it has a good like veggie option, then it would be on my list. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, everyone. And then the next question in our dining out section before we move on to our next topic is about food and drink pairings. So when I talk about food and drink pairings, I mean things like having a beer with a curry, for example. The first one that came to my mind, I'm not sure, this probably says a lot about me, is a cup of tea with fish and chips. That sort of very classic pairings, food and drink. Are there any food and drink pairings that you're particularly fond of? If the answer is no, that's absolutely fine, but I'm just curious. Manisha, are there any favourite food and drink pairings for you?
I can't think of anything from the top of my head, but I was going to say biscuits and tea.
That's a food and drink pairing.
Yeah.
That's an iconic combination. Thank you. Toshe, any food and drink pairings for you?
Chips and cider.
Ooh, that's a good one. Kesran, what about you?
Yeah, I think Pret coffee, their regular coffee cappuccino with their cheese toasty. That would be that would be great.
Classic food and drink pairing. Katie, are you back in the room? Can you hear us okay? Nope, that's okay. I will continue. So a really good range there of combinations of food and drink combinations. So thank you very much, everyone. Next section is about alcohol and also if you don't drink alcohol, the non-alcoholic alternatives. So Kezran, you are on my screen first. So my question is, what's your idea of a great night out and does it involve drinking alcohol?
So I don't drink alcohol at all. But I love like just your regular soft drinks, and some restaurant offer like great mocktails as well. And then also like lemonade, stuff like that. For example, Shake Shack's lemonade is like absolutely amazing, and coincidentally they do serve halal. Their burgers are halal as well. So I think that I think I'm a lemonade girl, and I would just always just enjoy those. I do have friends that do drink, and obviously when we're all dining together, it's absolutely okay. Everyone's having the choice of food and drink that they like, but it's always good to have like just land like at a restaurant that have like a good variety of like eclectic like mocktails and like lemonades and soft drinks, so then it's easy for me, a person like me, to choose from. To choose.
Interesting. And what is your mocktail of choice?
There's this really great restaurant in Oxford Circus. It's an Indian restaurant. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's called the Fat Pundit. They have like a really good mango mocktail, and they kind of spice it up with, I don't know what they put in it. So that's like, obviously they serve that, I think, with like a tonic, but then I always go for the mocktail version of it, and it's just so tasty, and I absolutely it's like really yummy. It's like the flavors like spicy, tangy, and then sweet at the same time, so like a lot of flavors flushing down your throat, and it's a great experience.
That sounds sensational. That sounds so good. Manisha, what about you? What's your idea of a great night out, and does it involve alcohol?
It doesn't have to involve alcohol, because I believe you can still have fun without alcohol, but I do tend to go for a vodka lemonade. A classic.
And firstly, would you say that a vodka lemonade is like your favorite alcoholic beverage, or is that your kind of go-to if you were going on a night out?
That's like my go-to if I was going on a night out, but I do prefer like sweeter cocktails.
Okay, interesting. And do you pre-drink before you go out, or do you tend to wait until you're out and about?
Pre-drink.
Pre-drink? And do you pre-drink?
Like if you pre-drink rather than get it like at the night out.
Yeah, that's a classic student tip. Do you drink any of the if you're a cocktail fan, do you drink any of the pre-mixed cocktails? You can get like cocktails in a tin, so you can get gin and tonic, or you can get Sex on the Beach, stuff like that. Are they something that you drink?
Yeah, Sex on the Beach.
Yeah. Katie, I think you're back in the room now. What's your idea of a great night out? Nope. Okay. We will. Apologies, everyone.
I am. I don't know if you can hear me. I can hear you guys intermittent, so I'm getting. For me, it'd be starting off doing a bit of an activity. So the other week we went and did mini golf first, and then going to get some food from like Weatherspoons, and then going on to somewhere like Slug and Lettuce for some drinks, and then finishing off at a local club would be my ideal night out.
Wow, that is a whirlwind. There's so much in there. Thank you. I'm glad that you're back with us. Would you drink, Katie, pre-mixed cocktails, or are you maybe not a cocktail person, or maybe you are, or would you ever drink those sort of tinned gin and tonic, stuff like that? I may just move on to Toshe.
Yeah. To be fair, a lot of the time for pre-drinks, that's normally what we get. We get the big box of like the Funkin kind of canned cocktail kind of things. Yeah, so then normally when we're actually out, we change.
Interesting, thank you. And Toshe, what about you? What's your idea of a great night out?
I mean, it doesn't need to have to include alcohol, but like if you're going clubbing, then I think having alcohol before that can be fun with the lights inside when you like get a little bit of buzz.
And do you tend to drink? So you tend to drink then, sort of pre-drink in the flat, for example, before you go out.
Yeah,
Okay, interesting. And being in Newcastle, I imagine the alcohol situation is quite heavy. Am I right?
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what's your favorite alcoholic drink?
I think it's just vodka shots.
That's a bold answer, but I rate it. So, and sort of one last question then on the alcohol versus non-alcohol discussion. So, Kezran, in terms of soft drinks, we've had one question from the audience about lemonade. I think you briefly touched on there was a brand that you really liked, but could you just mention again what your favorite brand of lemonade is?
Yeah, so definitely Shake Shack. I think they serve a great lemonade. The way they make it is really yummy. And Shake Shack is like super affordable as well. It's got like a student discount as well. I have tried like a couple of other restaurants because I'm always trying lemonade at places, but it's a bit disappointing because sometimes they just, I mean, they're charging so much for it, but they're literally giving you the regular Waitrose lemonade to mix it and pour it in your glass. So that's like a bit underwhelming. So yeah, if it I think when I speak about lemonade, Shake Shack just comes to my mind right away.
Interesting, and it's interesting when you mention price because I don't know about you, but I found recently that the price of soft drinks is getting, for obvious reasons, higher and higher, to the point where now the difference in price between an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic drink is not that big. Whereas it used to be, you know, an alcoholic drink was really expensive and a soft drink was like £1 or £2. So Manisha, if you were not drinking, what drink would you go for?
For a classic Coca-Cola, but I recently went to Nando's and I think they do bottomless Coca-Cola and it was like $3.45. And because it's bottomless, I felt like that was quite a fair price to like spend on getting it.
Steal, yeah, you can get loads for that. And Toshe, if you were not drinking shots of vodka on a night out, what would your soft drink of choice be?
Okay, so again, I think not exactly soft drink, but like if a place has good milkshakes, then that would be it. Or if not, then again, yeah, Coca-Cola bottomless. I think I agree with Manisha because I've also been to Nando's and they serve bottomless. I really liked it.
Interesting, thank you. Kesran, was it you that said you'd had a really good milkshake recently?
Yeah, from Krispy Kreme, I mentioned that they have their donut milkshakes are amazing. And speaking of milkshakes, I think Joe and the Juice, they serve like really, they have great like milkshakes as well. And I don't know, I just found their prices slightly higher than your regular milkshake places. But I mean, yeah, my younger brother loves it. He lives in Reading. He's always trying it out. So whenever he's visiting London, where he's just dragging me there. Um, but yeah, they have like really great milkshakes as well.
That's a good recommendation because I didn't know that they did milkshakes, and also they are like a very Joe and the Juicer. We don't have one. I'm in the north. We don't have one in Manchester. So whenever I go to London, I'm like desperate to find my next Joe and the Juicer so I can get their tuna cardo sandwich. So we'll move on now from alcohol, looking at discounts and the importance of a discount when you're deciding where to eat and drink. So Kezran, how important is price to you when you're deciding where to eat, particularly considering you are, as you described yourself, a foodie?
I think it's an important factor. Obviously, it plays a vital role as to where I will go and eat. But I think that if it is a special occasion, or if it's like a friend's birthday, or I'm just, I don't know, just feeling that way, I don't mind spending because I love to spend on food. It's yeah, I don't shop as much. I love to spend on food. But again, if I'm spending like a nice chunk of my money on food, obviously then I have like I'm very like particular about it. Then I will have to look if they're like giving out halal meat, and what are my options for like soft drinks. How far is the place exactly? Because if I'm hungry, will I have to like commute for like hours and hours, or take the bus or take the train? What hour is it? Because obviously London traffic is crazy. So all of those, I'm a lawyer, so all of those factors like play a really important role in my head. And then yeah, that's how I shortlist it. And yeah.
Okay. I love how you have a short list. So do you think you put a lot of research in before you choose where to eat, because you have to assess all that, like you want to assess all those factors?
Definitely a lot of research, and then I will always just pop a message in my group chat, and just like university group chat, or just like my regular friends group chat in London, and then just be like, oh, I'm planning on going there, have you tried this? And then obviously lots of messages would pop up. So obviously I can be a bit opinionated as well. If someone's like, oh my god, you have to try it, I will just go out of my way to do that. But if they're like, no, wasn't good, underwhelming, not worth it, then even if it might end up good for me, I just wouldn't go. So yeah, that's just how I kind of come down to a conclusion.
No, that's really interesting, and I think if we've got time, we'll circle back to it at the end. But it's interesting. The sort of peer-to-peer recommendation is the number one driver almost, and where you decide where to eat. So, like you said, if a friend recommends it, you're more likely to go, and if a friend says, "I didn't enjoy it," then you'll kind of pass it. So that's super helpful. Thank you, Manisha. In terms of pricing, how important is it when deciding where you go and eat?
I think it's really important because it needs to fit like other people's budget depending on like who I'm going with. And I feel like the menu, I usually look up the menu beforehand if I don't know what the place is, just to see if I'm going to like the things on the menu. And if I tend to not like the things on the menu, then I just reject. But I think the menu matters just as much as the price does.
Okay, that's interesting. So do you have a preference towards, like, if someone has a student discount, would you be more likely to go?
Yeah.
Or does it all boil down in the end to that menu to you?
I love a good discount, so it does depend on the discount that the place is offering.
Okay. And out of interest, which of the places that you go to eat, which do you think offers the best discount?
I know Nando's don't offer student discount, but I feel like they should. But I can't think of one off the top of my head.
That's okay. It was a very last minute question. Do not worry. Toshe, in terms of price and student discounts and all that good stuff, is that important to you when you decide where to go to eat, or is it something that's kind of not top of the list?
Yeah, I think when you're like going with a couple of friends, then yeah, discount really matters because like the bill is quite huge. Like even if you're going 3 or 4 people, but like if it's just me taking a takeout or something, I don't think discount really matters that much for me.
Okay, so you'd be more likely to look for a discount if there was a group of you, but if it's just you, you're kind of happy to pay whatever you have to pay.
Yeah.
Okay. Katie, before I ask you a question, can you hear me and see me okay?
Yep, it all seems perfect now.
Amazing. Okay, you're back in the room. So we're talking about discounts now. So how important is price to you when deciding where to go out to eat?
I'd say it's extremely important for myself. I'll often, if I know that there's a place that me and my friends would like to go to, I'll be the one that will go discount hunting to find it's more affordable. Because of course in my friendship group, all of us have a range of different incomes. So to be able to make it affordable for everyone and everyone to enjoy, it is quite important to myself. So definitely something I like to make sure that the price is affordable.
Okay, and interesting that, like you said, you've all got different incomes, so it's something that you all kind of need to consider. Is there a type of discount that you like the most? And by type, I mean X% off, or like buy one get one free, or like all those sorts of deals. Is happy hours, stuff like that. Is there a type of discount that you like the most, or is it just any discount a good discount in your book?
Typically, it's like when it's a percentage off. or if it's like buy one get one free, and then we can just split the bill at the end. So I think TGI Friday is just quite a good like percentage off one. So that's why we can often go there for like birthdays and things when it's in a group of friends. So that always seems to be where we end up, because we do like their discounts.
Thank you. So we're going to look now briefly at social media. Before I do, just a quick reminder, we've got about 15 minutes left. So a reminder to anyone in the audience just to ping over any questions if you want us to direct them to our lovely panelists. Social media, one of you's already mentioned social media, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but I'll get round to all of you. So Kezran, I'll go to you first. What role does social media play in your decision making when it comes to eating out? So have you ever been inspired to eat at a certain place because of TikTok, for example?
So I'm not on TikTok, which might come as a shock, but I'm always on my Instagram. And I think that it's a great platform. My friends are sending me lots of they're like DMing me a lot of recommendations as well. I think that the videos and then the visuals on Instagram are like super appealing. And then usually, restaurants and brands, they would also showcase whether, their meat is, sourced halal, and their menu, and also prices, and also if they give out student discounts as well, which again is like a really important factor for me as well. So yes, I think I'd be just checking my Instagram and just typing things in the search bar, and then lots of options would come up, and also use the hashtags, and then restaurants would just fall on my screen through those. And yeah, it's like a really it's like a fun way and like an easy way to like kind of filter your options and actually get to see the food and just like read comments, because comments are kind of like reviews as well. Yeah, Instagram for me obviously plays like a really important role in selection of like trying out new places.
So when you go on Instagram, do you search for are there any hashtags that you tend to look for, or is it just sort of general like food in London or something?
So I've recently been interested in trying out oysters, and then also like I love fish, so I haven't had a lot of lobster. So obviously like lobster salads and mac and cheese, and there was like so yeah, I would just type those those hashtags, and then a lot of fun pictures would come up, even just of regular famous people posting pictures at a restaurant. And I ended up trying recently Christopher's lobster mac and cheese, which was absolutely amazing. And they serve great desserts as well. It's slightly expensive. It's at Covent Garden, but it's like a really great place if you fancy like a fine dining situation, or you're just celebrating, or just like, I don't know, unwinding a busy day. So yeah, it really came through for me, and I just use those hashtags now more than ever. And then I do end up finding like good recommendations, and then yeah, that helps.
And do you use your personal Instagram to share photos of food that you've eaten, or do you tend to just use it to look at other people's?
Oh no, I do share photos. I post a lot of stories as well, and I'm sharing those with my friends as well, and tagging brands as well. Yeah, I'm always doing that. And then yeah.
You're an influencer. I love it. Toshe, what about you? Do you use social media when you're deciding where to go out to eat?
I'm more of a Google reviews person rather than using Instagram. So before if I'm trying out some place new, so I'll usually go and check its reviews on Google and just see the place on like the street view, how actually the place is. So that's how I make a decision.
Cool. No, that's really interesting. Thank you. And Katie, what about you? Do you use social media, or are you a Google reviews kind of person?
I'm a bit of both, to be honest. I'll often, if I'm going to a new place, I'll go on TikTok and I'll put in, say if it's a burger place I'd like to go to, like burger places in Brighton, something like that, and I'll see what pops up. Because then you can actually see the food and it's actual people eating it, rather than brands and things posting food. So you can actually see firsthand what it might be like. And then I'll often then go onto Google and then put in the place, and then you can read through the Google reviews. And so I often find that sometimes there might be two restaurants in the same area, but one is a lot nicer than the other, in the sense of what the reviews say. So I often will do that.
Cool. I love how much research you all put into finding a place to eat. I'm exactly the same. I love it. Katie, when you said that you like seeing actual people eating the food as opposed to like a brand marketing it, is that because you can see honest reviews and behind the scenes stuff as opposed to kind of like this polished image?
I think so. I think because typically brands are going to want to put their best work forward, which is totally understandable. And you see all these things about how they might make food look better to the camera, this or that. But by watching someone on TikTok posting about their food or a restaurant they've been to, you can see it like the unedited version. And I can tell that when I go there, that's probably what I'm going to be having, rather than maybe their Instagram pictures that might be quite filtered, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And back again to that peer-to-peer recommendation. So thank you very much. Manisha, social media and online reviews, do they influence your choice when you're deciding where to eat?
I do a lot of like my food research on TikTok by food recommendations by other like influencers or just general people. So that does tend to influence me because I came across Bunsink. It's in Chinatown in London, and they had those cheese like hot dog kind of things, and that intrigued me to like go out and try it just through TikTok videos. So they do play a large like influence on me.
Do you read the comments as well, or do you tend to just kind of scroll through and see what you like?
I guess it's more of the aesthetics. So I don't really tend to read the comments.
And you said you went to the cheese hot dog place and you liked it. Did it pay off?
It did. It was nice. It was tasty.
Okay. And do you use your social media at all to share photos or videos of the food that you've eaten, or do you tend to just consume it from other people?
I do tend to share and tag the brands like Kezran said on Instagram mostly.
Has a brand ever reshared your post or your story? To your knowledge?
I think, 1947. That's like a Indian restaurant in London, and I tagged them on Instagram.
Fantastic. So we've got an audience question now that I'll just direct to a couple of you, and then hopefully we'll have time for one more question about food and tech. So this question came in, and Manisha, since you are on my screen, I will ask you first. What keeps you engaged on social media, and what would you like to see that would make you more engaged?
I guess it's like what brands are releasing. So I know with Wagamama's, they've like released like pies that they're like marketing, and I first came across that on Instagram. So because they've released something new, I don't know if there's like a vegetarian edition, because I saw them advertising as a chicken pie, but that was intriguing. And I think more of things like them releasing new items on their menus is attractive.
Okay, so you want to see like the fresh stuff. That's how you grab your attention. Okay, interesting. Kezran, what about you? What keeps you engaged on social media?
I think because I follow a couple of those on Instagram, and then I'm constantly liking them, and then that's enabled like a very interesting algorithm on my app. So I'm constantly getting food recommendations, and ads are filtered that way as well. So like a lot of things about food on there on my screen. But I recently I follow Taco Bell, and I have like so one of my campuses are in Marylebone as well. Just like it's like a fantastic location right in front of Madame Tussauds. And then there is a Taco Bell which happens to be halal as well. So thumbs up for me. And then they recently they posted on their Instagram about how you can scan a QR code, and then you get like a really nice discount on their wraps. Funnily enough, I ended up trying that, and somehow I went like across to the till to pay my bill and everything, and they said that you've QR coded and the meal is free for you. and it's just free because that's what it says on my screen, and I actually didn't have to pay for my food. So sometimes you get lucky with those QR codes as well. So it's really great to keep a track on new offers and like all of these things that brands come up with, and obviously you get like instantaneously notified through like social media platforms. So that really helps, and yeah, you just end up saving so much money.
Well, you could have eaten loads more for free if only you'd known. So essentially from you two, it's stuff that's to keep you engaged, and what keeps you engaged is seeing new and fresh content, and also promotion of deals and discounts and stuff. Toshe, do you have anything to add to that? Is there anything else that keeps you engaged?
I usually don't follow like a lot of pages for eateries, but like I keep getting ads and stuff like that for specific brands. Which the one I remember was Pot Noodles, where just like I get their ads for like cup noodles and stuff. But most of the thing that I get on my Instagram is related to how to cook your own meals and stuff.
Cool. And pot noodle is very much a student staple as well. Katie, is there anything from you that keeps you engaged on social media?
I think seeing different things. So I don't really follow many food brands, but I often have their adverts come up. I'll be quite honest, when I see the same advert over and over again, it then just doesn't want me to, I just don't want to look at it anymore. But if I'm seeing new and fresh different things, then I'm actually more engaged and more like, oh, this is quite cool. Or I might actually act upon what it's saying if it's like promotions, things like that. Versus if I've already seen something, I'm just going to keep on scrolling past. It's not going to engage me.
Okay, so it's that ad fatigue almost, kind of if you see the same thing over and again and it just doesn't have an impact on you anymore. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And thank you to the audience for that question. So we've got time for one more question. This one is about food and tech. The future of tech, the future of food. So as Gen Zers and students, you've grown up with technology at your fingertips. But since the COVID-19 pandemic, we're seeing technology appear more and more in the world of food. We've spoken about QR codes. How do you feel about ordering via a QR code when you go out to eat? So Katie, I'll go to you first.
I'm more than happy to do it. It's something I often do when I go to places like Wetherspoons, and I actually find it a whole lot easier and more efficient because you're not queuing up at the bar while everyone's trying to order drinks and things. I can actually order my food and drinks, to be fair, from my phone. It's a lot quicker. I can pay directly through it, and I can see as well what my food's adding up to. And as well, say if I'm buying food for other people, then we can easily see what each other's bought when it comes to like splitting the bill, things like that. So I'm very much so for them.
Yeah, it helps you budget easily. I get that. That makes sense. Toshe, what about you? Do you like ordering via a QR code, or do you prefer face-to-face interaction?
I think I use QR in some of the places because when you're ordering through QR, you get to know more offers about the place, which you won't get to see on the screen when you're ordering, or when you won't get to see it on the menu itself. So I think, yeah, that's where I use QR.
Okay. Again, that promotion and deal thing is massively important. So yeah, thank you. Kezran and Manisha, I'll come to you quickly. So Kezran, we know that you love a QR code. You've had a lovely experience with a QR code. How do you feel about ordering via a QR code when you go out to eat?
Yeah, I think as long as I'm aware that I'm aware of the ingredients involved in my food and how the meat is sourced, I'm happy to order with the QR code, because as Katie mentioned, it just saves a lot of time. You don't have to stand in like queues. And this made me think about an experience a couple of months ago when I had my friend visiting from a different country. We went to Bistro Village, and then they've opened up a couple of halal options, which is great because my friend and I were both Muslims, and with our families, we could then eat in. And then they had like a really great option of a QR code queue, so you'd quickly scan. And even though obviously the restaurant was like full up, it was a great restaurant, was full up, but obviously we didn't have and we wanted to eat in, dine in. So we just scanned the QR code, and we were actually added to the queue. And as soon as, the tables would be empty, we'd be notified on our phones, and then we could just just kind of like pause on the shopping and then go back, eat, and then resume. So it's like a really fun and effective way, and to be on top of things, and you don't have to like just stand and wait for like a lot of like for like long hours.
Amazing, thank you. And Manisha, very, very quickly, I'm just going to one word answer, I'm afraid, because we're running out of time. Which do you prefer, QR code or person-to-person ordering?
QR code.
I think we've got QR code all round pretty much, or nearly. Amazing, thank you. So thank you so much, panelists. We've run out of time, unfortunately. Thank you so much to the audience. Thank you all for joining us for an hour today. If you want to know more, please get in touch to find out about how we can grow and develop your audience as a food and drink brand at Pion. And also don't forget to grab the additional resources that you can find on this lovely platform. There's the Gen Z Marketing Campaigns Calendar 2024, and hopefully there's also the How Food and Drink Brands Can Capture Gen Z's Spend piece of content. So make sure you download those. Thank you again, panelists. You've all been fantastic. Thank you to our audience. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Have a lovely bank holiday, and hopefully we will see you soon. Thank you very much.